Good evening. I'd like to open the April 14th, 2021 meeting of the Sebastian City Council. Would we rise for a moment of silence, and if you would please, in your thoughts, think about a lot of the problems that we're having as a country right now. See if we can't get through some of this. Thank you. Is the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Mayor Hill?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have a roll call, please.
Mayor Dodd? Mayor Dodd?
Here.
Vice Mayor Hill?
Here.
Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Councilmember McPartland?
Here.
Councilmember Nunn?
Here.
Thank you.
One second. Let me connect my hearing aids to the T-call so I can hear what people are saying.
What?
You know, it's always nice when you can hear it. Okay. Are there any agenda modifications from anybody on the council today? Seeing none, by unanimous consent, the agenda is approved. We have a couple of proclamations. I'll come down front. Okay. See if I can get this so my glasses don't get so fogged up I can't read them. All right, this is the proclamation for National Volunteer Week. I believe you guys are going to come up and accept this. Would you like to come forward, please? Yeah, right here. Okay. How you doing? All right. National Volunteer Week, April 18th through April 24th, 2021. Whereas throughout our history, our nation has been profoundly shaped by ordinary Americans who have volunteered their time and energy to help their fellow man here in our beautiful city. People come together daily to give of their time, effort, and compassion, make this a better place and create a better life for others. And whereas volunteer service is a lifelong pursuit that strengthens all of us, and with every act, our communities are drawn closer and our country is forged stronger by the generous spirit of volunteers. And whereas today, along with our gratitude and our many volunteers in our community who give unselfishly of their time, we also want to pay tribute to our City Hall and Police Department volunteers who have contributed thousands of hours of their time to make our city operate smoothly and keep citizens safe from harm. We are all richer by their presence. Now therefore, I, Ed Dodd, Mayor of the City of Sebastian, do hereby proclaim April 18th through April 24, 2021 as Volunteer Week, National Volunteer Week, and urge everyone to observe this week by volunteering and pledging to make service a part of their daily lives, and to express our gratitude to those who have given every day. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Sebastian to be affixed this 14th day of April 2021. These guys, before they speak, but these guys saved the police department countless hours of work and provide countless service to the city. They're really a charm. Great to have you guys here. Thank you. Would you like to speak? Yes, please. Let me. There you go.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, on behalf of the many volunteers of the Sebastian Police Department, we'd like to thank you for the special recognition for the work we do. We work very closely with the men and women of the Sebastian Police Department, and as a result, I can assure you we couldn't ask for a finer group of people to protect the citizens of Sebastian. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now this one kind of goes along with that. This is the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 11th through 17th, 2021. Is our 911 operator, or is that who's coming forward? Okay. And before I read this, I'm going to tell you that this last week I had an occurrence to have to call 911. My sister-in-law had a problem. I'm not sure whether I talked to either one of you or not, but it was a very pleasant, constructive experience, and they took care of the problem with grace, humility, and so forth. It worked great. So, whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information transmitted from citizens who telephone the Sebastian 911 Communication Center, and whereas the public safety dispatchers of the Sebastian Police Department have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, treatment of patients, each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job. Now therefore, I, Ed Dodd, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Sebastian, do hereby proclaim the week of April 11th through April 17th, 2021 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Sebastian, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keeps our city and citizens safe. I witness herefore and have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Sebastian, Florida to be affixed this 14th day of April, 2021. Ladies, thank you.
I speak for all the dispatchers at Sebastian. We enjoy working for Sebastian Police Department and serving the citizens of Sebastian. So thank you so much for appreciating us.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Councilmember Jones, would you step down here, please?
Oh, jeez. Coming
Yeah.
down for your certificate?
What did I do now? Yeah.
Graduated, friend.
You didn't know I was going to do this, did you? Well, now, for all of you who have noticed that in the last couple of meetings, Councilmember Jones has gotten a little bit more vocal and he's gotten a lot more knowledgeable. And the reason is that he has completed the Florida City League of Cities newly elected officials course. And he's now considered to be a certified newly elected municipal official. I'd like to present him with that certificate.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Give him a round of applause.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you. I've got one I'm going to read when I get up there, because I don't want to embarrass her too much. Go ahead, Fred.
While they're walking, I will say I very much appreciate the Florida League of Cities for educating Mr. Jones on how to act and carry himself up here. So he's been doing a much better job. So I appreciate the League of Cities for getting him in order.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, now, council, just so you know, this is not on the agenda, but for all of us who don't know, for all of you who really don't know, for the last, for the last year, Barbara Brooke Reese has been the one. That's yours. Barbara Brooke Reese has been has belt the blunt of our transfer to electronic mediums, and she has completed a course as a certified municipal asset manager.
IT manager.
IT manager from Florida State University. It's a great award, and she deserves our kudos for that. So, all right, now, brief announcements. On Monday, April the 19th, the FDOT is having a public workshop. It's listed in our agenda as on the proposed roundabout at the intersection of County Road 510 and 66th Avenue. It's at 5:30 in the chambers. Now, FDOT will not have anybody here. They're going to do their part by Zoom, but there will be 2 people from the Indian River County Metropolitan Planning Organization here to facilitate that meeting. If you have not seen the plans, and I think we've had some publication of information on that's gone out, you might be interested in looking the way that roundabout's going to work. But they're also going to talk about the entire 510 project, I understand, and give you an opportunity to input on that. But the roundabout is going to be the impact that roundabout is going to be mostly on Sebastian. So come out if you have any questions, and it's your opportunity to express your concerns or your opinions to FDOT. On April the 24th, Earth Day celebration in Riverview Park. This is a great event. It's being put together, or has been put together for several years now, by our Natural Resources Board. They didn't get to do it last year. They've got a lot of stuff planned for this Earth Day. They're kicking off the Sustainable Sebastian Initiative during this celebration. It's from 9 to 4 p.m., 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the park. This is an event that's great for kids. They do an awful lot of stuff for the kids in this event. So, and then on April 27th, the Charter Review Committee's second public hearing is in the council chambers at 6 p.m. They are now reviewing the charter amendment changes that the committee is proposing to council, and I believe they'll come to council at our first meeting in May. This will be your last chance to come in and talk to the Charter Review Committee before they release their findings to the council. Once it comes to the council has some limitations on what we can and can't do with those things. So this is a good chance for you to say what you might want to say on that as it comes through there. Anyone else have any brief announcements they'd like to make? Okay, seeing none. We're now into public input. Anyone in the room would like to address us on any item that is not on the agenda? Come forward, folks. Yes.
Lido Street, Sebastian. First, I'd like to say thank you to the Public Works Department. I call it Highway Departments, sorry, for the great work they've done on the ditch lines. For all of you that don't know me, I do a lot of walking, usually about 4 or 5 miles a day. And they have been everywhere, just cleaning the ditches and making them work again. And we had all that rain, was it last Friday? I believe, and I don't believe there was any flooding, although it was dry. Anyway, the real reason I'm here is because of all the misinformation that's been given out about Roundup and all the stuff that goes on with it. I'm glad they're not using Roundup, glyphosate, but the misinformation that's going along with it is absolutely terrible. Me and my wife spent a lot of time on the recall committee. We've been a little neglectful other than watching you guys on TV. I haven't been here almost since the change. And it's almost starting again with the misinformation, and not with you guys, but with the committees and the people that are making the statements. If they can't tell the truth, they shouldn't make a statement. And there's been a lot of misinformation and a lot of non-truths, and it really bothers me. So I had to come tonight and say that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And believe me, we welcome you guys back to speak to us. I think I said last meeting something, it could get kind of boring in here if nobody comes in and talks to us. So it's really nice that happens. So, anyone else would like to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom that has raised their hand?
No one at this time.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're now on to the consent agenda. I would like to pull item D from the consent agenda. Would anyone else like to pull an item? Council, what's your pleasure then?
Did you
on
say
item
D?
D, yes.
D,
as in dog.
okay. Mr. Mayor, I move approval of items 8A, B, C, and E.
I second that.
All right. Does anyone in the public want to address any of these items? No?
Consent.
All right. We have a motion by Councilmember McPartland, seconded by Councilmember Nunn, There is no money involved in this, so we can do a roll call, please. No, I'm sorry, we can do it by voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right, I pulled item D, which is a request for the Sebastian Junior Women's Club and the Pelican Island Conservative Society to sell alcohol at the Arbor Day and Earth Day celebration. Council, I pulled that primarily because I wanted to have a conversation. I remember very vividly a year and a half to 2 years ago when the Natural Resources Board had a member come to them and ask to sell beer at the Earth Day celebration. The board was almost, well, with the exception of one person at that time, was not in favor of that. And I just wanted to make sure that the Natural Resources Board had input to this, or had an opportunity to input to this. They were very much concerned at the time that it was brought to them that this was more a kid's celebration than an adult celebration, the Earth Day thing was. And so I just wanted to question. Yes, go ahead, sir.
And Mr. Mayor, from my understanding from Ms. Hagler, who attends those meetings, and Mr. Benton, who's also available to answer questions, that this was discussed with the NRB board. The original request was that the city would do it, and our recommendation was, as we do with any public city-sponsored event, that they get a private nonprofit to facilitate those and get the permits to do that.
Okay.
So that's my understanding, and that's why the Women's Club and the Audubon are going to facilitate
Okay.
the.
So this was discussed at the Natural Resources Board then, it was?
The difference was previously they just wanted to ask a vendor to come. This is a different situation. Perrydale actually approached the Natural Resources Board and wanting to donate beer for an organization, and then Pelican Island Conservation Society stood up and they weren't able to have their big fundraising event this year. It was pretty much unanimous. It was unanimous from the board on that. And then we wanted to invite both of our local breweries, so Mash Monkeys will be supporting it as well.
Okay.
They're donating it. The permit right now, I'm just waiting to figure out if they both would have to get their own permit or one permit to share for the event. It's a unique situation because the nonprofit hosting the event is not the nonprofit selling the beer, but.
Okay. Well, I was just wanting to make sure that the Natural Resources Board had been involved in this, so.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm comfortable with that. So I move approval of item 8D.
Second.
All right. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thanks, Skip. Okay. There are no committee reports or public hearings. We're on to unfinished business, which is item 11A. I believe Mr. Carlisle.
Yep, Mr. Mayor, member of council, the unfinished business, the approve and design build for the Hangar D was a process that was started almost 2 years ago with the RFQ for a design build for the hangar. And we brought that before council. Council awarded the original negotiation to Johnson Law, and myself and primarily Mr. Baker had worked tirelessly with Johnson Law to get this within the budget that we had available. They were not able to do so, so as per Florida Statute 287, we ceased negotiations with them. The number two vendor was Aaron's company, who actually built hangars A, B, and C, so he was really looking forward to keeping his legacy along and building Hangar D. And I will tell you, Mr. Aaron's went to work right away and got us within budget and a complete project. When I say complete project, this is going to complete the hangar and the office shells. The office shells will be left for a design build for whoever wants to use them. We didn't feel it was appropriate for us to build office space and someone who came in and said, well, no, we got to move this wall or that wall. So as we lease this space out, we will allow them to do a design build in compensation for the rent. And so we anticipate about $85,000, $90,000 a year in annual rent based on our current rates. If we had to do the build, then that number would change, but that's our current position. So we'd ask council to consider approving the GMP to Aaron's company for $1,964,187. Mr. Aaron's is on Zoom to answer questions, and this is primarily funded out of the FDOT funds, and about $340,000 comes out of our DST funds.
And that DST, 300 and is it $92,000?
Yeah.
That's actually was allocated in our 2019-20 budget cycle, right?
That's correct. It was the original, when we bid the project out, those funds were allocated in anticipation of starting that project then, and obviously those
Okay.
funds have been encumbered.
All right, so we're in good shape with that.
Mayor.
Council, any questions for me?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to just congratulate staff once again. I mean, this is an outstanding job of keeping a project within budget, and not only that, but, you know, injecting $1,571,000 into our airport and our economy. It's outstanding work. I very much appreciate the hard work that city manager has done and the airport director. And I would move approval of the design, build, and granting a maximum price work service agreement with Aaron's Enterprises, Inc.
Second.
No, motion and a second. One comment, Scott brought this up to me before the meeting. On page 65 of 128 in your packet, it's got the wrong company name. That has to be modified. I guess, Manny, you can just do that when the contract's taken care of.
Myself or the procurement officer can do that.
Okay, so, all right, so we're in good shape then. We don't have to do anything with that. All right, okay, good. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this? Is there anyone on Zoom with their hands raised?
No, there is not.
Mayor Dodd, I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
To the city manager or Robert, the $85,000 estimated for us from that hangar, does that include the office space or just the hangar or both?
So my understanding is that is the square foot rate that we get for the building in the hangar, for the office space in the hangar, based on the total square foot, that is what we would get based on the current design.
Okay. Also, I think there's a typo on page 47 of 128 and 15.3.3. The bottom, the last part of the first paragraph there, it says county there. I believe that should be city.
You're correct.
Also, on page 48 of 128, 15.3.4, the first paragraph in the middle there says, design bill under this agreement to such extent as it may be necessary in the county's opinion. That should be the city's opinion.
That should be city.
Okay.
Cut and paste, sometimes you don't catch them. I apologize.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Anything else from anybody? Any other comments? All right, let's do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Jones,
Yes.
Councilmember McPartlin,
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd,
Yes.
and Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're now on to item, new business, item 12A. Mr. City Attorney, would you like to read the ordinance introduction?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading for ordinance 2103 for proposed land development code amendment in regard to the mobile food establishments and criteria for temporary use and setting a public hearing for May 12th. It reads, an ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, amending Land Development Code Section 54-5-22.2, definition of terms by creating a definition for mobile food establishment, amending Land Development Code Section 54-2-3.2, 3.3, and 3.4, relating to the procedure and criteria for review of temporary use, and initiating Land Development Code Section 54-2-3.6, which states procedures and criteria for mobile food establishments, providing for, proving for severability and repeal of law and conflict, providing for codification, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for effective date.
Thank you, sir. Just for anybody in the audience or who don't understand what's being done here is that the state has done some preemptive legislation, and they've changed what local governments can and cannot control as far as food trucks or mobile food dispensing facilities are concerned. And what this change is is attempting to bring our code up to the point where it matches or where it follows on with the state code. So it's not, this isn't something that's being done because anyone's complained about mobile food trucks or anything like that. It's being done because the state has put us in a position to have to do that. So I do have a couple questions before we go on, though. They're really kind of interesting, but on page 68 of 128, in the Class 2 canteen truck section, the definition section, it says hot dogs there, that they will vend fruits, vegetables, hot dogs, pre-cooked foods, and then it comes down further in another sentence that says no preparation or assembly of foods or beverages may take place. Well, most of the canteen trucks that sell hot dogs, if you consider the fact they've got the hot dog in some boiling water and they've got the bun in a little cooler and they've got other stuff over here that you can put on it, I would say that is preparation. And does this prohibit that?
So our definition, or the definition of preparation, is cooking and assembling. Hot dogs are a reheat, and this is kind of taken out of some additional language from the state. But our ordinance is designed to protect our local businesses. But the main thing is we had to define like ice cream trucks, because we don't want to not have the ice cream truck be able to go around the city. But so
I understand. I just didn't know why, the most of the hot dog vending places or things that I've seen, they don't prepackage the hot dogs. You come in and they pull it out of their cooker and they cook it right there in their water.
Right.
And they pull it out, they stick it on a bun, they ask you what you want. I want some kraut, I want this, I want that. And that's, to me, it's just a matter of is whether someone could later on come back and say, well, they're assembling a hot dog. I don't know. I mean, it's ludicrous, but it just hit me strange.
And I think because typically hot dogs are, the original hot dog was a hot dog cart. They pull it up, they park it, and it's a little cart, and it's not a stove and cooking and a exhaust fan fire suppression type preparation is kind of the differentiation between those two. Mr. Mayor, if I can, real quickly, on the title, we do need to correct a section that Annie was reading. It should be providing in the title, providing for severability. So we'll make that change for the second reading.
Okay, fine. We'll do that on the second reading. Okay. Now let's go to item on page 3 of the ordinance, but it's item 4 under specific requirements. It says, however, a business entity or owner operating a mobile food establishment may need to obtain a local business tax receipt. Is there an option under which they can be in business without having a business tax receipt? Should that not be shall contained?
If they become non-mobile. In other words, if they bring a food trailer, put it on a lot and take the wheels off, it's still a trailer, but it's no longer mobile. So if it becomes no longer mobile, then they may have to get a business tax license.
And Mayor Dodd, too, and I wanted to clarify too where that was put in. The state preempts us from requiring the food truck itself to get a business tax receipt. But if you have 3 or 4 mobile food trucks and you're taking phone calls from your house as the caterer or the owner of those food trucks, that business is your food truck, you may need to get a local business tax from your house for operating that food truck business. The food trucks individually aren't required or we cannot require a business tax receipt for them. But you as a business entity operating, you may need to get a business tax receipt for operating a business from your home.
Okay, so is there a difference between what you view a food truck that is used by a caterer to deliver services versus a food truck that parks down at Riverview Park and sells you, I don't know, one of the best brisket sandwiches I think that I've had in an awfully long time during a thing. They're both considered food trucks. So
Correct.
What you're saying is that if it's operated by the caterer, the catering company has to have a business receipt, but each truck does not. Is that what I'm
Correct.
hearing you say?
Correct.
Okay. But
Yes.
the guy who parks down at Riverview Park and makes and sells those brisket sandwiches has to have a local business tax receipt.
No, they do not.
No.
They do not?
No, and the thing is that one of the things I like about the way this was written is that it protects the local businesses.
Yeah.
And so they're not allowed to go down to Riverview Park and sell their products out of their mobile truck. They're not allowed to go on city property and create or make food and sell it in competition with the local businesses. It has to be on private property unless it's a special event, which brings them in. So this isn't something that's going to allow a taco truck to park at Riverview Park every weekend and sell their tacos, which would be in direct competition with our brick and mortar buildings, which I would not be in favor of. But the protections that are in here, I think are right, because they take the requirements, they make the requirement that it must be done on private property. And also, speaking of the fact that it's got to be mobile, and I appreciate that the question was brought up, is that you can't just back a taco truck up onto a piece of property, put it on jacks and leave it there forever and just sell tacos out of it. So I do appreciate the protections that are put in here for our local businesses. I've had some consternation about allowing not just taco trucks, but the food truck industry into the city of Sebastian because of the requirements we put on our brick and mortar restaurants and the amount of taxes they have to pay and the inspections that they have to go through and all of that. So when I was reading this, I originally started out with, oh boy, here we go, and then I read into it that there are protections for those businesses. So I actually like the way it's written. The state of Florida has basically made it necessary for us to do this. So I don't think that we need to concern ourselves with someone going down there. And I would say that the brisket sandwich was great, but the brisket mac and cheese was off the chains too. So
I was too full after the sandwich.
were you
I couldn't
okay?
get to
So-
that. Yeah.
But I do like the way that the city manager has put in protections, and has always been my concern. Local restaurants and businesses and the requirements for them to have parking, and there's a lot that goes into being able to be successful as a restaurant in the city of Sebastian, and this protects them, and it doesn't eliminate all of those things, and it doesn't let someone come onto public property and go into business. So I dig it.
My last question, and this is on number 3 under operating requirements, where it says no more than 2 mobile food establishments shall operate in the same location, and it references privately owned property. This would not, I'll give you a couple of examples. The bazaar that's held periodically at the Catholic Church, where they set up this big trade center, this would not stop them from having more than 2 food trucks there, nor would it stop the city from having 7 or 8 at Riverview Park during a sanctioned function, correct?
So you're absolutely right, because the bazaar is a special event, sort of the special event permit, they can have as many. When we have the Shrimp Fest or the Clam Bake, it's a special event permit for the Clam Bake, and they can bring in the number of food trucks they think is necessary.
Yeah.
But just to park 10 food trucks in a private piece of property also would go against the principle of trying to protect our local businesses.
Yeah,
That
no, I
makes
understand that. I don't have any problem with this. I was just, some things that kind of struck me on it. So anyone else have any questions?
I do. Well, not a couple of questions. I got a comment or two. While I know it's very important to protect our local businesses, and I agree that this is doing that, many of our local food trucks are also local residents with businesses that are trying to survive using their food truck. What this is doing is giving them the ability on local property, not special events, not special licensed events like the Shrimp Fest, but on local property, whether it be at a brewery or if a church wanted to have a food truck sitting there, this gives them protections to be able to do it without having to jump through a bunch of hoops with the city, without having to get extra permits and extra licenses. As long as they're licensed to sell food and their truck's legal, they can go do it. And I think that's important, because these food trucks are our local businesses as well. And I understand that from the concept of having a restaurant, it doesn't compare in the overall, but there is still a large overhead with these food trucks. There's a lot of things they have to go through with the cooking equipment, with the fans. I mean, they have to have a complete kitchen inside most of these food trucks, and it's not cheap. It's a very expensive venture. So I'm glad we're protecting our restaurants, but as well, we're giving an opportunity for the other members of our local community to make money in a business that they've chosen as well.
Thank you. Anything else? Anyone else have something?
Yeah, Mayor, I have a couple of things. Just a couple of language cleanup, and I like the whole thing, except there is some language that needs to be cleaned up on page 71, section B, number 2. In the yellow highlighted area, it says the City of Sebastian Fire Marshal. I do not believe we have a fire marshal, so that should be the
Yes.
City of Sebastian and
do.
the fire marshal.
We do have a
We
fire
do.
marshal.
Do we do? Okay.
Our building official is also a fire marshal, certified fire
Okay,
marshal, Mr.
good. So that
Mr.
doesn't
Esseltine.
include the county, that's just us here, so, okay. Also, on that same line where it says, cooking under temporary structures in prohibited unless approved, that should be is prohibited unless approved by the City of Sebastian Fire Marshal. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes,
That's it for me,
we'll
Mayor.
change that. This part of the ordinance is another section of our temporary use article. And so since we were inserting the mobile food truck new regulations that we're creating, what we went, as long as we were doing this in the same ordinance, we went ahead and cleaned up this section of the temporary use special event. These are the requirements for special events and temporary uses that are on private property, not the ones that are in the park or at the Barber Street or any publicly owned property, but this is the firework tent that goes up at Walmart twice a year. This is the flea market on the church, the private property owned by the church. This is their guidelines for their special events and temporary uses. So we just wanted to update this and clean this up and get it to more where it mimics the process that we do follow for our applications and those requirements for private special events and temporary uses on private property.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Bob, you got any?
No.
Did I hear a motion on this? No?
Mayor Dodd, I'd move approval.
Second.
Okay, and anyone from the public? I'd like to address this? No? Anyone on Zoom? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Good evening. Derek Gary, 920 US Highway 1, Mash Monkeys Brewing Company. Us as a business fully support this passing. I'm glad that you're talking about it and willing to go forward with it. Also, the one who organized all the food trucks for the Shrimp Fest and future Shrimp Fest.
Awesome job.
Thank you. We encourage food trucks at our business. We like to have them every Saturday, Sunday, when it's not an inconvenience for the other businesses directly around us. And wanted to let you know that we're very happy that this could be going through right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom?
No, there's not.
Mr. Mayor, City Manager has something.
Yes, sir.
I need clarification. Was the motion to approve to set the date for the second hearing for May 12th and the correction in the title, was that the motion and the second?
It certainly was.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All in favor of setting the second reading date for ordinance, don't lose myself on this one.
And
New
May 12th.
business,
A public hearing for May 12th.
02103
Yes.
for May the 12th, second reading.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Signify by saying aye. please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. On to item 12B. Mr. City Attorney, would you like to read the,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading ordinance for 2104, amending City Code Chapter 46, flood, as well as setting a public hearing also for May 12, 2021. The ordinance reads, an ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinance Chapter 46, floods, to amend Division 1, generally, to add Division 2, definition for accessory structure and market value, to delete Division 2, definition for manufacturer home park, to provide for accessory structures in flood hazard areas, specifying elevations of manufactured homes and flood hazard areas, providing for applicability and severability, providing for codification, providing for conflict, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, members of council, this is one of two ordinances that have been required to be changed because of building code changes and because of FEMA changes. And Mr. Esseltine, our fire marshal and building official, is here to answer specific questions, but this is in direct relation to FEMA requirements and the building code change.
Any questions from anybody?
Mayor Dodd, I'd move approval of ordinance number O-21-04, amending City Code Charter 46 floods, set public hearing for May 12th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, I just have one question. And it's only because I read something that I read one of those pieces of legislation that's trying to flow through Tallahassee right now on page 83, under market value, where it says that market value is the actual cash value, like-kind replacement cost depreciated for age, wear, tear. We all know that the move right now on the state's level is to let insurance companies not reimburse you replacement, but reimburse you at the depreciated replacement on roofs and other things. Is that directly from the FEMA?
Yes.
Is that term where it says is the replacement cost depreciated, is that directly from something we received?
Yes, it is. So market value comes into play whenever you have like a substantial improvement. That would be like a building that, say it's hurricane damage or flood damage. And so when you're trying to figure out what the value of that structure is, one of the ways to do it, one of the options, is through an appraisal. And the way they do the appraisals, it has to be based on market value. And so what they do is they determine what the value is to build new, and then they depreciate it based on its age.
Yeah, so if your insurance company, this is the thing that's happening in Tallahassee right now is aimed towards property insurance companies not being required to pay you replacement value for structures.
I'm not sure that this has anything to do with that, though. This
No,
has
so-
more to do with determining market value for the purposes of substantial improvement, whether it's more than 50% of the
Okay,
value
all
of the
right.
structure or not.
Okay.
I don't really think it has anything to do with insurance.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't something that's being snuck through because of what they're trying to do up there right now with that insurance thing. So I'm fine with that. Anybody from the public have any questions on this? Comments? Anyone on Zoom?
No, there's not.
All right. Once again, the motion is that we establish a second reading on the 12th, meeting the 12th of May. Council, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. We're on to item number C. Chapter 26, Buildings and Building Regulation Ordinance. Mr. City Attorney, would you like to read this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading for ordinance 2105, amending chapter 26, building and building regulations, and also setting a public hearing for May 12, 2021. The ordinance reads, an ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, amending the City of Sebastian Code of Ordinance, chapter 26, building and building regulations, amending Article 2, Building Code Section 26-31, Technical Code adopted, amending Article 6, Contractors Division 1, generally Section 26-168, renewal of certificate, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for conflict, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
Mayor Dodd, I'd move approval of ordinance 21-05 and set a public hearing for May 12th, 2021.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. I just have one question on this one also, and it's really, item number C under, on page 91, about the middle of the page. No construction shall be done within the city limits except in accordance with, so forth. This doesn't modify the fact that if you're doing a remodel and you're only remodeling 10% of your building, you don't have to bring the remainder of the building up to the most current code. That we have a we require that you do that once you get the substantial modifications of the building, correct?
That's correct. Any new work
Yeah.
would have to meet the current code.
Yeah, the
but-
new work, but not, you're
Right.
not gonna be required to bring the remaining of the part of the building up to current code.
That's correct, and that's all covered in the existing building code.
Okay, this doesn't change any of that?
No, sir.
Okay, good. That's all I wanted to make sure of, is it didn't do that. There'll be a bunch of people really upset. They walk in and want to remodel a bathroom and find out they gotta bring their kitchen up to current code.
No, not true.
Okay, anybody from the public have comments on this? Is there anyone from Zoom?
There's no one.
I hate to ask this, but is there anyone on Zoom? Good.
There are 4 people.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, once again, this is to, the motion by Vice Mayor Hill is to set the second public reading and public hearing for May the 12th. If all in favor of this, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign for negative, but motion passes 5-0. We're on the 12D. Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, this is to bring our body worn and vehicle cameras up into compliance. Our current system is cumbersome and unreliable at this point. And so we put together, the chief had a group of officers put together a presentation and research, and they went to other agencies. They talked to agencies all over the country, and they evaluated the three companies that are in contention for these types of units, and they had good things to say about several of them, and obviously some had some downfalls as well, but Lenslock seemed to be the most responsive. They provided us with some options that we obviously can't disclose to the public, but it activates when it's needed. It will have a larger backup system. We can have unlimited backup of our data. When we look to do our requirements for the state's attorney and the redactions that we have to do, the system is very much more user-friendly, and there's user-friendly options for the officers in the way they connect the cameras to other instruments. So in the presentation that the committee gave, I agreed with their outcome to go with Lenslock and the amount of $392,915, which is a pretty good process because it's a 5-year lease and you can purchase it, but every 2 or 3 years, 2.5 years, I think, they give us all new equipment. They upgrade it, and they give us 5 spares. The other company, we would have had to buy additional. So if one breaks, we take a spare, put it in 20 minutes, we're out, back up and running. We send the camera back, they send us a new one, no cost, for any reason. So we'll always have available resources to make this, make us compliant with FDLE, compliant with the state's attorney's requirements for data storage and presentation and redaction.
Okay, so the $392,000 is payable over 5 years, so 1/5 of that we paid out of the police department's operational, or no, be paid out of our discretionary sales tax fund?
Yeah, because it's a new purchase, lease purchase, so it could go, because it's new. If we were doing maintenance, it wouldn't come out of that, but since it's a new, I misspoke when you asked me that. I was not thinking so.
I know. Okay.
I apologize.
So that basically in our budget process, we'll absorb $80,000 out of the discretionary sales tax each year for the next 5 years then to pay for that.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, no problem. Okay. Any questions, council?
Yeah, just one. Are the, on the cameras, are the triggers set by the agency, or are they set by the camera company, or does the agency have priority over what triggers the camera to come on?
So the agency, we set the parameters of our triggers, and we set that, and then they put the algorithms in to make that happen.
Anybody else? Questions? Nope. Okay. Does anyone from the public have any questions on this? Anyone on Zoom?
No, sir.
Okay. I think it's a great purchase, and you know, the equipment can't be maintained. We need to replace it. It's a great opportunity to do that. So I'm all in favor of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the fact is, I mean, it should be, I mean, it's practically a requirement now.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything goes wrong, it just provides our agency protection if they're doing the right thing, which they would be doing. So, you know, I mean, it's the cost of doing business now as a police department, and
yeah.
you know, it's
It
a lot of
protects
money.
everybody.
It's at $6,500 a month But, I mean, it's the cost of doing business, you know, we want our citizens protected and our police officers as well, so.
Yeah.
I'd move approval, Mayor Dodd.
I second.
Okay, any other comments? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Hill,
Yes.
Councilmember Jones,
Yes.
Councilmember McPartlin,
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn,
Yes.
and Mayor Dodd.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, we're on to city attorney matters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, and vice mayor. Other than what was already presented, which is the public hearing we have coming up for the charter review on the 27th, that's it. And then we should be coming before the board first meeting in May. And tentatively right now, we have like 8 recommendations. That's it.
And we just logged up the May 12th meeting with a whole bunch of second readings plus that, right? So we're in good shape. Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, one important item that I had a meeting with Florida Power and Light on Monday, and they're doing their rate request for rate increases. It's a significant rate increase that they're looking for, and they're looking at, it could be double digits. And so they'll be, I don't know exactly when the hearings are going to be, but the public needs to be informed, and they need to go to and join in on those meetings. They'll be virtual. And if I get the dates and the times, and I asked her to send that to me, it's important that they speak up, because this is one of the largest increases I've seen. And you know, I know FPL does a great job. They've been doing a great job hardening, and their services are great. But this is a big impact on us. It's a big impact on the residents and throughout the state. So be informed. This is going to be a pretty big deal for everyone involved. So it's not a 2% rate change. We're talking 10, 11% rate change. So we need to make sure that we get that information out as we get it, and that the public pays attention, because this is going to be a big deal for all those involved.
So you can put that out on our notification system or something to let people know that when the dates are?
Yeah, I have the months of what's going to transpire. There's one coming up in May for, you can talk about how good you like FPNL or don't like FPNL, but I don't think it's until the summer that the rate one is going to be discussed between the Public Service Commission and that's the one that's going to be the most important.
Is the fact that they're polling residents currently in Sebastian about converting to underground power?
That's a different animal altogether. That's something they're trying to do to be more resilient for storms. And I had a conversation with her. She didn't even know they were going door to door. That wasn't part of their task that she knew about. But they're definitely looking at some pilot areas to do underground installations. And that we happen to be one of the areas they're going to talk about it. They haven't made any decision yet.
All right.
Yeah, they were at the chamber and down on the river today. It was actually a different truck this time, the Bowman Consulting, the company that's doing the information. I've talked to people about that, and they want to know. And let's be clear, underground utilities are a wonderful thing, but it's not going to be free. And this rate increase has nothing to do with that. So if that does come down the road, there's going to be costs associated with it. Yes, it's a great thing. It'll make our utilities more stable and definitely better for the long run, but there will be costs associated with it once we get to that point. This has nothing to do with that. They're saying they need that now. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so some of the reasons that, and I respectfully disagree with some of them, is the hardening, the cost for the hardening, solar, and investment into solar, and we can talk about that later, but I just feel it's imperative that the residents see what's coming, that they don't get surprised by it.
Right.
Fuel prices are gone up like crazy over the last, 6 months.
Yep. All effects. Okay.
Yes, everything.
Steel, everything.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have for now.
Okay. How about the city clerk? Nothing. Okay. So on the council side, I'm first. I appreciate the comments the gentleman made when he came up and talked about the stuff that's in social media. Just so you guys know, I even went so far to put 2 responses on one of the social media pages. I know, and offered an individual to meet with an individual personally and talk about the things that they were complaining about and try to give them some appropriate facts and information. I got turned down flatly They weren't really interested in having a conversation with somebody who might be able to answer their questions. So it is important, I think, for the citizens to understand that there's not anything, I don't know how to even say this without making it sound stupid. There's nothing nefarious going on up here in the council. There's none of us making a lot of money on the decisions we make. There's nobody in the city trying to, trying to do anything. Every decision that's been made up here that I know of, at least in the last 8 or 9 months, has been made by people who really care about the city and are trying to do the right thing for the city. And so I will say it again. You can go to the city's website. You can find my email address. You can find every other council member's email address. You can find my city phone number. I am more than willing to sit down and have a conversation with anyone who would like to talk about some of these things. And if I can't answer your questions, I will get an answer for you. I mean, I talk to the city manager all the time about people who've called me about stuff, and we manage to fix their problems, so if it's fixable. I'm not saying always, but if it's fixable, we do that. So please don't listen to the naysayers. Call, and I don't think anybody up here would refuse to provide you information if you need it. I'm more than willing to meet with anyone who would like to do that. I don't normally comment on those social media things, but it just kind of hit me wrong, and we're headed into an election cycle, and I hate to talk about that, but we're headed into one, so be prepared for it. So that's my 2 cents worth. Vice Mayor Hill.
Yeah, it's easy to lie, and the cowards have actually blocked me, so I can't even see the comments that you guys are talking about, which is all good because I'm like packed with truth, and they hate that on social media. So don't worry about that garbage. I'm surprised you responded. It's nice that I'm blocked, so I don't have to see the crap. But anyway, I do have a question for the city manager. I think Indian River County School Board is discussing the stopping of the mandatory masks. I'm very happy to hear that in the school system, and I'm just wanting an update as to when you think that the city can get ourselves back to a little bit of normalcy, like City Hall and some of the other facilities, to where we can sort of slide out of the restrictions that we currently have and get back to something a little bit more normal. If you could just give us an update on your plan, because you are the one who covers this realm.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, man. So in answer to your question, I had put travel bans on outside travel to conferences for staff until the end of May. So in June, I was going to open that back up. Looking at the same thing, making masks more, everything's basically voluntary through the cities, is all voluntary by our resolution, but the City Hall, relaxing that. Looks like we'll be in pretty good shape based on our shot records and the availability and the rates in the city or in the county as a whole is in good shape. So I think probably by the end of May, we'll look at some more normalcy. And with that, we're going to look at, we allowed this temporary outdoor seating for the last year. We're going to reevaluate that at the end of May. It seems like we have the outdoor seating, but they're shoulder to shoulder in the building, so the excuse is we need the outdoor to be safe, then you should be shoulder to shoulder in the buildings. So at the end of May, we're going to start addressing all of those things and putting the city back into a sense of normal business is my goal. But it will be based on, the rates of infection and that we have. But right now, we're seeing some good trends in the county.
So I guess the answer is it's safe to say that if things are on the current path, that by the end of May, people will be able to come to a council meeting and not have to worry about getting temperature checked or wearing masks and, the kind of, I don't want to call them restrictions because they're not really restrictions, but we have to have some sort of a plan to phase ourselves back into normalcy. So you're on that, and it's looking like by the end of May, barring anything crazy happening, we should be back to being able to be normal again.
Yes, because that's been my plan based on what I've been seeing in the trends, and we still ask people to voluntarily do what they can do, but it looks like by the end of May we'll be more normal, back to regular business.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Councilmember Jones.
Yes, this is for the city manager. When was the last time a competitive salary study was done? as it relates to our city employees compared to cities around us?
I don't know when the last one was done. I know that I tasked our HR director early this year to do the entry-level employee study, and we're finalizing that study as we speak. But I've also, just last week, talked to Ken and to Cindy about doing a citywide class and comp study. It's just for us to try to do it, it's just too involved when you start looking at our benefits package versus others' benefits package. And so we're going to set aside about $60,000 to do an RFP, to do a citywide from department heads down to maintenance workers. No one will be left out of that study, to make sure that we're competitive, that our benefits are competitive, which we have a very generous benefit package, but we compare all of those dollars, not just wages, but the leave time, the sick time, the PPO plans and the health insurance plans. What's all that value compared to the dollars that we pay? And if it needs to be adjusted, we'll come to council through the budget process and adjust that. It's not going to happen overnight, but the process is in place to start that ball moving, if that answers your question.
Yes, sir, outstanding. Thank you guys for doing that.
Mr. McPartland.
Just a few things, Mr. Mayor. You know, like you, I talked to a lot of people out there. You know, I learned a long time ago, you can't argue with crazy or stupid. Crazy can be maintained through medication, but it's not a permanent thing. And I'm always willing to talk to any reasonable person that's out there. So that's why, you know, I enjoy a lot of the conversations I have. I learn a lot. And, you know, I talked to the city manager, a lot of the stuff they brought up with me. At the last P&Z meeting, there was a lot of discussion there. And they were just there for the site plan, but then they were bringing forward things as far as engineering. But I find that planning and zoning committee, they're very knowledgeable. And I mean, they get into that stuff, reading those plans left and right. And I know that they did have some concerns about the engineering aspects. Even though that may not be their purview, is the staff looking into some of the suggestions that they made to make sure, I mean, this is a $9 million project, some of the concerns that they had.
And so that plan has been vetted by the Community Development Department, by our engineering department, by the contractor who's built several of these projects, and by a city, an engineering consultant independent of the city. And so the design, the criteria, and all that has been vetted by numerous people to try to make sure that the project that we're building is A, cost-effective, efficient, and functioning. And that's what we've come up with. So I haven't been asked all the direct questions to be able to answer them. There was a couple about pavement thicknesses, and you know, pavement's a wear surface, it's not a structural surface. There was some questions regarding recycling the water for the car wash. That's just not feasible for this isn't a car wash where you're going to have 1,000 cars a week going through it. You'll have 10 cars a week maybe going through it. The cost to do a recycling facility for that small amount of traffic is not financially doable. It doesn't make sense. And then there was another one about an under drain. Under drains have been used in construction projects for years, and that was the way the water has traveled through the parking lot into the retention ponds. Those under drains have been used.
Is that a hunter drain?
Under
drain.
Under drain. The water goes on and under and up. Are there challenges with under drains? Absolutely. They require more maintenance and more cleaning, but for the cost and the design of it, we have the ability to do it. So the cost and the design of trying to put in numerous additional structures to maintain and to deal with versus doing this and having that as a maintenance item made sense. So other than that, I don't know what else the other questions were, but I hope that answers some of your concerns.
I mean, that's fine with me. You know, I just like to get everything addressed, and people bring me questions, I bring them to you, you answer them. But I just know there was a lot of discussion on those matters going forward. And then I had some new ones today, you know, about a fisherman landing down there. They made the new parking on the riverside, and I understand why they should have their own parking over there. One is for when they're unloading fish, it's a safety issue and everything along those lines. And then I know the parking lot that's across the street from Krabby Bill's, whatever it was, a third was specifically for the fishermen, then a third, I believe, for Krabby Bill's, and then the other third was for the public to be used. I guess if you could go into depth as, you know, why that's that way, and then the safety issues addressed with that, not only on the side, the river side, for the fishermen to have that only parking for them, and then also on the other side.
So we actually have a lease agreement with Fisherman's Landing. And the lease agreement is that entire section of the dock, that parking area that we just completed, and a row of parking on the south side of the dirt parking lot across the street is a lease agreement that we have with Fisherman's Landing. So they have the rights to all of that property, but through our lease. Just like with Krabby Bill's. With Krabby Bill's, we have a lease with Krabby Bill's and a number of parking spots across the street as part of their lease. The safety issue was the big concern. When we originally designed that parking lot, we had the retention pond moved in a different area, and we were going to allow parking along the hedge line of Krabby Bill's. The big concern of the fishermen's were, we have two fishermen, two warehouses that come in and get fish. We've got a third one on the way that wants to utilize the facility, but there wasn't the ability to do it and do it safely. So we redesigned, and they paid for all the redesign and everything to accommodate that third fishing vendor that comes in to take the fish, and to be able to stage their trucks and to be able to load safely without public pulling in the middle of it, parking, getting out and walking off and down the street, which happened the other day. Some lady pulled in, parked right in the middle of the parking lot, got out and walked off, and just shut the whole project, the whole ability to load fish. So for safety's sake, we're trying to separate the commercial industrial component of the Fisherman's Landing from the public getting hurt or cars getting wrecked or them not being able to function by keeping them into the parking areas that was designed for public parking, if that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense to me, you know, obviously, and that's why we wanted it to be interactive kind of down there, but then some people always push the issue, and you don't want to have to necessarily have a fence or anything. And if anybody hasn't been down there lately, I encourage them to go down there. And then Charlie Sembler, he constructed that awesome piece of artwork about the soldier that's down there, and I think that's a great thing that he's done down there. I think it's honoring World War II veterans, and if you haven't, go down there and check it out. And that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Nunn.
Yeah, obviously I've seen some of the things on there. I saw Mayor Dodd's response. I was surprised because he doesn't respond to things very often. I don't tend to respond to most of those things, and every once in a while, but I'm glad to see, you know, facts bother people sometimes, and I'm glad to see you gave them the opportunity to have a factual discussion, and they basically just, you know, said, the heck with you, we don't want facts, we just want to keep pushing our agenda. I think I mentioned that last council meeting. If you have to have an agenda to try to make a point, you might want to look at what your point is, or what you're trying to achieve by it. I want to say thank you to the staff, as always, for everything they do. Our meetings are nice and organized and arranged, and thank you for that. Lastly, I want to remind people that we're only a little over a month away from hurricane season. Don't start to prepare for hurricane season. It's going to be here before we know it. Hopefully not here early. But, you know, make sure you get those trees trimmed and all those things, thinking about it, getting prepared for it. Don't wait to the last minute, because, you know, Mother Nature never likes to play by our rules and our calendars. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. If no one has anything for the good of the order, we are adjourned.